Hello, everyone. Welcome to Get Init, our first session celebrating the month of Hacktober. Hacktoberfest is a significant initiative for the open source community, where all the participating students and chapters can contribute to open source software. Open source is changing the world, one contribution at a time. Building on those values, ACM-VIT's Fork-tober strives to spread knowledge, create projects, and guarantee innovation and advancement of open source throughout October. Today, in our first session, we shall take a deep dive into Git and its significance in open source. Check out and contribute to the open source projects in our repositories for the app, web, and research domains. At the end of the month, the top contributors shall receive giveaway prizes. Apart from the Digital Ocean teas provided by Hacktoberfest, ACM-VIT also has exciting bonuses for its top three contributors. For the third place, we are giving away OnePlus Bullets Wireless Z, and for second place, we have OnePlus Bud Z up for grabs. Last, but definitely not the least, our top contributor gets a third generation Amazon Echo Dot. Make sure to check out our Discord server for Fork-tober, where all contributors can interact with our mentors. As an added bonus, whoever brings in the most number of people into our Discord server will get a GitHub t-shirt from Crazy Monk. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. First, we have Ariman explaining the basics of Git and GitHub.
Hey guys, welcome to today's session. I'll be explaining what Git, GitHub, and what Git and GitHub mean. So let's start off with GitHub. What exactly is GitHub? Now, GitHub is a Git repository hosting system with just a tad few more features. It can be thought of as like a social media for programmers, but on steroids. You can interact with developers, you can maintain large scale projects, and generally make a name for yourself in the programming community. Now, Git is now what is Git? Git is a version control system which helps accelerate development. Now, coders can't exactly code with Google Drive. We can't share code and collaborate with simple Word documents. That's where Git comes to play. Now, Git is basically a version control system. So you know how if you have some software, you always get these software updates, right? Because software needs to be patched, bugs need to be fixed, you need to add new features. With Git, you can have like one team that's adding an entirely new feature, and you can have another team working on the same project, the same files, which is actually fixing an old bug. It helps make software come to life, and it almost feels like an ecosystem. Now, originally, Git is a command line tool, but GitHub, the platform, it introduces a graphic user interface for beginners to start with. Now, okay, what if you don't want to use GitHub? Well, there are other alternatives to GitHub. You aren't just limited to one choice. There's GitLab, there's Bitbucket, Gitia, and much more. So, what's in store for you guys watching this session? Well, we have Gagan who will explain the basics of Git. We'll explain what is Git add, what is Git commit. Then we'll go over some project readmes, and we'll make our own profile readme so that when other people come to your GitHub account, they'll actually figure out what you do, what you're good at, and how to connect with you. So profit. Yeah. Let's start off by creating our own GitHub. Let's start off by creating our own GitHub account. So when you go to github.com, you sort of come across this very well designed website and click on sign up. And actually, back when we joined GitHub, all this fancy animation stuff wasn't there. So there's that. Now I've created this demo email. We'll continue with that. And it's asking us for a password, which I will also feed in. And now it's asking for a username, which is Hacktoberfest test 123. And we'll continue. So would you like to receive products? Let's say no for now. All right. And it wants to make sure that I'm not a robot. So we'll do this and this. And create account. So after those steps, it's going to send you a code to your email. So let's just really quickly check our email. All right, so well, while GitHub is figuring that out, let's just check out a few profiles that I found today. Now, this is what a GitHub profile actually looks like. We have this person, Anurag Hazra. I've not seen these before today, so we'll kind of explore this together. And this is called a profile readme. This is what we'll be creating today in this session. And over here, you can see the navigation bar. That's the profile picture. And it doesn't have to be your face. Many people, they like to use anime profile picture, whatever floats your boat. And this is his profile readme. So he's introduced these sort of dynamically updating widgets. So each time he makes a commit, this part will update. Each time he makes a pull request, it increases. And if you scroll down, you can see the pinned projects. So as you work on projects, you want to kind of show the ones that you're proud of, right? So you can put them over here. And if you scroll down, you can see the contributions. So these green ones are basically how many contributions he's made on that day. And let's see if GitHub has, right. I don't know why that's not working. Anyways, there's another profile that I wanted to show you all. This was also very interesting. So as you can see, it's this person, Alvin Wang. So you don't have to be a software developer to use GitHub. This person is basically a researcher, and it's a very minimalist type README. And if you click on this drop down, it kind of shows you the stats. So I really like that. It's neat.
Email doesn't come to your personal account.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll try to create another account in incognito because, yeah. That's all right. So what we'll do is now we'll move it. Now that we've seen these profiles, we'll go over the basics of Git. What are Git add, Git commit, and all these different commands. For that, over to Gagan. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so today we will be looking at what Git is, and I will be showing you practically how to use that as well. So Git, as Ariman told you, is version control. Git is the most popular version control system in the world. All right. So he explained about what are repositories, and these repositories also have project history, also known as commit history, to see what change has been made for what and why. So if you screw something up, you can revert back to an earlier change. So you revert back to an earlier state. Without this VCS, you would have to store different versions in different folders. This is very complicated. Git makes it super easy to collaborate with teams to work on a project together seamlessly. All right, so now let's install Git. For Windows, Git can be installed from this website. You just simply go to the website. You can go to downloads. You can download Windows or OS or whatever you feel like whatever the operating system you have right now. I am currently on an Ubuntu, a Linux-based distro. So I will use the below commands. Like on Ubuntu, you can simply use the apt package manager to install Git. And if you're on Mac OS, the easier way is to use Homebrew to install Git. Now, after that, when you have installed Git, the first thing you do before running any sort of Git commands are that you need to tell Git who you are. All right. So now I can simply run git config global. Wait, let me remove Git. So now I will tell Git that who I am. All right. So now I will run git config global user.name Gagan. So here, what happens is this is telling the git config that the username of the person who's using this git instance is Gagan, and this global switch means that this is going to affect the entire system. All right. Now I have like the name already stored, so it's giving me an error. So git config global. Now I will add my user email, user.email malvigagan@gmail.com. Now I told Git that this is my email ID and this is me. So now Git will know if I'm committing on this computer that these are my commits. This will even show up on GitHub. All right, now let's initialize the Git repository. For initializing Git, you can create an empty Git repository first. You will change the directory you want to create a new repository in and run Git in it. So now once you run Git in it, you can see that Git has initialized an empty repository in this path. All right. Now, once you have initialized an empty Git repository, if you want to check your status of the Git, let's just add a file for now. Nano. Suppose I have it's an SS, right? So I will go to home. I will go to SS, and I will add a file, an empty file. All right, hello.txt. All right, now I will open this up. I will type in something. Hello, this is my first file in Git, and I will save that. And now I'll come back here and I will run git status. Now git status will return that this file has a new file has been added. Do you want Git to take this file inside, means like accept this file into the repository? For that, you run git add hello.txt. Now what happens is Git will know, okay, now this file has to be added to the repository. So now this is a change that has to be committed. Now, in order to make the change permanent, you will run git commit. Now, git commit will open a text editor. It could be Vim on Windows or Nano. So it'll have a similar UI to this if you're on Linux. So for example, now the commit message, I'll put something like, this is my first commit. All right. So now you can see that we have created a commit here, right? Now let's go back to the PowerPoint so I can explain better. So now we have marked files for committing using git add. We have also created a new commit. Now suppose there is a bug. There is a bug in my code and I want to fix that. But there's some people who branch as well. Now I don't want that to get screwed up, right? So now what I will do is I will create a new branch. I will run git branch, something like branch 1. Now branch 1 has been created with same contents that the branch master has. Now I will check out branch 1. Now you can see that I'm on branch 1 here, right? This is a tool that is not present, but yeah. So git status again, you can see that I'm on branch 1. Now, if you want to see the commit history, the project history, then you run git log. You can see that my commit history is right here. All right. Like I can see that this is my very first commit. So now suppose if there's a bug, I want to fix it, like hello.txt, there's an issue. So this is my first file in Git. Now I will type, okay, number one line, something like that, just some content. Now I will run git status. You can see that the file has been modified, right? Now Git again asks, do you want this stage to be staged for commit? Now you can simply run git add hello.txt again. And Git will be like, okay, now this change has been staged for commit. So now that change will be made permanent in the next commit. So if I run git commit again, this is my second commit. All right. Once that is done, you can see that I have created a second commit now. If I run git log, you can see that there are 2 commits now, right? So now we have seen branches as well. Now what we will do is now we will upload the code, whatever we have written, to GitHub. All right. Now github.com, you can go to github.com. Now you just go to your dashboard here, and then you press the plus, new repository, my first repository. This can be anything. All right. Now I will create this repository. Now what is a so now what we're going to do is we're going to add a remote. Now what is a remote? A remote is nothing but a location, an online code host, an online Git hosting service like GitHub that you can push code to. So now I have created this repository, right? So this is my code. This is my code host. This is my Git host. So now what I can do is I can add a remote with this link. Now if I just run git remote add, now I will add the remote name. Now I'll put git origin. I'll put my remote as origin here. Now I will paste my repository link. I'll press enter. Now the remote has been added. Git remote. Sorry, now the git remote has been added. Now if you want to push this, we run git push and the remote name, and then we add the branch name to it. So the entire command would be git push origin branch 1. So now if we do that, you can see that the code has come over here. So now in GitHub, you have a lot of intuitive features. You have issues, you have pull requests, you have actions, you have projects, you have wiki, you have security will check if your code is perfect, like if there are any security vulnerabilities in that or not. That all secondary. So now you can see when I press the number of commits, you can see my commit project history over here. You can see that this is my second commit. What change have I done this from my previous one? And this is my first commit. This was when I made the file. All right. Now I will go back to my old play, git checkout master. Now I will try to pull the latest changes that are in branch 1. All right. Now what I can do, now I will run git pull remote name origin master or origin branch 1. This what it does is, now suppose now a git pull is invoked. What happens is, it will ask GitHub. It will be like, hey GitHub, in this repository, do you have any more changes, any newer changes? Now GitHub, you can see that on branch master that you only have one commit, whereas on GitHub you have two commits, right? So now what we can now, it's like with a git pull origin branch 1. Now GitHub will be like, okay, I have this extra change compared to yours. So do you want that change? Now Git will be like, okay, yes, I'm using a Git pull, so I need the new changes. So now what happens is, if I run this, the new change will be downloaded and it will be merged into your current source code. So now you can see that my second commit also has been merged into my master branch. So these are the basics that could be used for now. Now over to Harsh, over to Aryaman again for showing you the README.
Okay, guys. So what we'll do is we'll create the README for my profile because the new account that we tried to make did not work. And your profile will look a bit like this, except for these things here. So you see this plus button over here? That's what you use to create a new repository. So I'll just click on that. And this is a really cool feature. So the way this works is if your repository name is the same as your username, then it unlocks your GitHub README, your profile README. So whatever username you used while signing up, just put that as your repository name and it will start working. And then we'll keep it as public. It needs to be public. That's the important part. And we'll add a README because we need that README, right? And then I'll click on create repository. So now it's going to go through its process and create the repository. And as you can see, this is what an empty repository looks like. So now, as Gagan mentioned, you can initialize a new GitHub repository with git init. And there's another way of doing this. If you can see this button over here, it says code. So what I'll do is I'll click on this button over here, and we'll go over the git clone command. So what I've done is I've opened a new folder in Visual Studio Code. You can use your favorite code editor. And after linking your username and everything, as Gagan said, what we can do is we can say git clone and then right click and then enter. So what that's doing is it's cloning whatever's there on GitHub onto my local system. So now what I have is a local repository, as you can see here, Kazmi Coder, that's the username. So now what I'll do is I'll open that. So session, and now we've opened Visual Studio, we've opened VS Code in our Git repository. So as you can see, there's a readme.md over here. And this is what will actually get displayed on your main GitHub sort of page. Just as a preview, if we go here, since we've initialized this README, it's showing us this hi there. If you remember, this wasn't there before, but because we initialized it, it's there now. And before we get to that, we'll go over the basics of Markdown. So I'll say basics.md. Now, Markdown is basically like a file format. It's if you're familiar with HTML, then you'll find this very easy. And its extension is .md. Now in HTML, you have these header tags that go like this, h1 till h6. In Markdown, you use hashtag. So if I say hello world, and if I open Oh. Wait, how much did you guys miss?
I'm just a little continue from.
Okay, so
the VS Code.
Yeah, so basically after cloning, after using git clone, you get a local version of your repository. And here I was just explaining the basics of Markdown. So the way this works is with a single hashtag, that's the same as the h1 tag in HTML. So that's how that is. And you can also do the same with 3 equal to signs. Now, if you wanted to do the h2 one, let's say heading 2, you can use the hyphen. Use 3 hyphens and it does the same job. Now you'll notice that if you want to write a paragraph, so and then this is line 2, in the preview it comes on the same line. So to fix that, what you need to do is you need to add 2 or more spaces to the first line. Now what we'll do is if you recall HTML, you can do the same with the break tag. So now this is on 2 lines, it's on 2 separate lines. Now if you want to make text fancy, let's say you wanted to make
Please do it, camera.
Yeah, hi guys. Sorry a lot for the technical issues. Let's just start over with basics, okay? Now, I think we covered the initial header tags. So a single hash will be h1, and you can go all the way till h6. It's the same as HTML, so it's not that complicated. And what you can do is, if you wanted to type text in one line, so let's say line 1, and then line 2, you see that it comes on the same line. So to prevent that, what you can do is you can put 2 or more spaces after the first line. Then what we can do is we can make our text fancy by making it bold with 2 asterisk symbols. And we can also italicize text. So I can spell italics with the 3 asterisk symbols. So as you can see on the right, we have a preview there. This text has been is in bold, and this is in italic. So now let's say you want to add a quote. There's this option of a block quote, and the way this works is you use the greater than symbol. So I'll say block quote, and now I'll say line 2, and we face the same issue again. As you can see, all of this comes on the same line. So to prevent that, hit enter and another greater than symbol, and line 2 goes on the third line. And as developers, we like nesting things. So we have the option to nest them by using 2 greater than symbols. So in the preview, you can see how it is. It says nested, and then, yeah. So now coming down to ordered list, you can do it the HTML way with OL, and let's say LI, some text, close LI, or you can just do it normally. So some more text, and then number 2 is this. All right. Now after that, what you can do is you can include GIFs. So this is the interesting part. What I'll do is I'll drag this GIF over to your profile README. Remember this, your initialized Git repo needs to have this .git file. Otherwise it won't work. And the way we can introduce photos or GIFs is this. So let's say hello GIF. So you need to encase some sort of text in square brackets, and in simple parentheses, you need to link your GIF, and that is called hello.gif. So this is really interesting. If you see GitHub readmes, they have many GIFs, and you can get creative with this if you want. And it's important to have socials, right? Like, what if someone sees your LinkedIn profile, and what if they're really impressed, and they don't know how to contact you? So to add a link, again, you use square brackets and then simple parentheses, and then your link. So for now, I'll just link google.com. I can spell that. Yeah. And then if you click on this, it opens Google. So that's that. Now that we've been armed with these basics, let's go and create our own profile README. So after using git clone, we got this sort of template. So GitHub was nice enough to give this template. But what we'll do is we'll modify it according to how we want. So we'll say, hi there, I'm, let's say, Ravi, if your name is Ravi. And then we'll add this bold line. And it's good to have a preview there. You can see what it physically looks like. And let's put some cheesy like innovating for the betterment of, and then in nested block quote, we'll say humanity. And then after that, what we'll do is actually we can use some of these as well. GitHub is kind enough to do that. So this, as you can see, this is actually a HTML comment. So even though we're in Markdown, most of the HTML syntax works here as well. So this part is not being rendered because it's in the comment section. So I'll paste that, and I'm currently working on, let's say, data structures, currently learning C++. And I'm looking to collaborate on, you can add projects or whatever you want, ... And there's one more thing that we didn't cover, but it would be interesting to have. You can say that, let's say I'm interested in, and give a pipe, 2 dashes and another pipe. This is how we can create a table. So let's say if you're interested in, machine learning, you can put that in one row. If you like coffee, again, you can be as creative as you want with this. So now what we'll do is we'll open the terminal, and we'll actually use the commands that Gagan taught us in the previous section. So you need to be, as you can see, this is the current working directory. So we're in Casmic Coder, which is the profile README. So here I'll say git status. So it shows us all the changes that have been untracked. So we've added these files. The most important one is the README. And oh wait, we forgot to use our GIF. Yeah, let's do that. We'll say GIF hello.diff. There. Now it got rendered over here. Nice. Now what we can do is, again, get started. So these are the untracked changes. So these three files have been newly added, and this one has been modified. We'll do git commit. This is how you can track these changes. And -m stands for message. So what message do you want to say? We'll say added diff and updated readme. Let's say that. And then close quotes and enter. So before that, we forgot to add it. So you need to track these changes. For that, git space add and then dot. That dot basically adds every change that you've made. And then you have to commit. So now we've made 97 insertions and 1 deletion. And then we can say git push. So now what this is going to do is, so far we've been working on the local repository. So it's going to take all these changes and it's going to push them to GitHub. So it's going to put it online. And okay, so this has been pushed to the master branch, as you can see. And now if we go to our profile and reload, we can find the changes that we made, that GIF that we used. So this is amazing, right? I mean, come on, look at that. So yeah, that's how you can use GitHub. And oh wait, one more thing. Let's say you wanted to add some sort of like dynamic widget that shows people, how cool you are and how good you are at coding. So this guy, Anurag Harza, he's come up with this GitHub readme stats thing. And the way this works is what we'll do is we'll open profile. 1 minute. Right. So what you guys can do is you can website, and he's given a basic usage. So just copy this and username, type your username. That's the important part. So I'll copy this one and we'll go to our current readme and then we'll paste it here. So now we can use the username. So we can type, let's say, Gagan, he's the one who presented the thing before. These are his stats, which are pretty cool, 0.8K commits, and yeah. So for now, I'll just put my username because that's where we're pushing this thing. Okay. And there, these are mine. And now we've made these changes, right? So we made them in the local repository. So now we need to say again, git add. It's going to track these changes. Git commit. And what did we do? We added readme stats. And then git push. And we'll wait for it to do its thing. And let's head over to the profile and reload. There's a diff and okay, stats. Why didn't it come up? Let's try that again. Okay. Yeah, so it should have worked. There you go, finally. So I guess if it doesn't work in the first try, just see if the alignment is correct and if you have any extra spaces or things like that. And that's it for the readme, You guys knock yourselves out, explore cool readmes, and start coding. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this session.
I'm sorry about that. So, great session by Malvi and Aryavan. Thank you so much for the session. And I would like to conclude by saying, well, thank you for Hacktober for letting us conduct the event. And you're more than welcome to check out the Discord link provided in the chat box. You'll find all the contributors here and our repositories on GitHub. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask away, and make sure you follow ACM on our socials to keep updated. Thank you so much. Hope to see you next time. And one more thing I'd like to gloss over upon is top three contestants get an Amazon Echo Dot third generation, a OnePlus Bullets wireless, and a OnePlus Buds Z. And as a bonus prize, you also have a GitHub t-shirt from Crazy Monk. So make sure you have fun this Hacktober. It's a month-long event, and